Hi there, friend. I'm Rebecca Hayes, and welcome to another episode of Design Your Happiness. So, today we're going to be talking about how to spend time alone, even if you don't know where to begin. So, let's get into it. Now, I didn't originally plan to talk about this when I was creating this episode, but I was flipping through HuffPost the other day and I came across a funny term that's sort of making a comeback. And of course, they traced it back to TikTok. It's called Herkel Durkling. Maybe you've heard of it. But its actual origin is Scottish, and it means to be laying in bed or lounging about when one should be up and about. Okay, and that's HuffPost's definition, so I'm going to include the link to that article in the show notes. But there's a whole debate about, whether it's a good or bad thing, whether you should be Herkel-Durkling and embracing this mindset or activity. But whether you're for it or you've never even heard of it, that doesn't actually matter for this episode because I'm not actually talking about Herkel-Durkling. It was just that reading that article and hearing that term and seeing the comments and the debates, it just made me think about how I actually prefer my mornings to go. And it actually, I think, aligns really well with this episode's topic about spending time alone. But you let me know if you agree. So, for myself, I actually do consider myself to be a morning person. But that doesn't mean that I want to start my morning off with people, especially when people are bombarding me with questions or a lot of conversation. I don't want to start my morning with a vigorous workout. And I definitely don't want to start my morning going straight to work. You know, those people who roll out of bed 5 minutes before they log online or, just before they throw on some clothes and head out the door to get to work. I'm not one of those people. I actually like to get up earlier. In fact, on mornings where that happens, either by accident, we all oversleep sometimes, or if for some other reason I end up having to rush out to work or rush online or whatever it is, there's a noticeable difference in my energy and my attitude, honestly, pretty much all day. Because you see, on an ideal morning, yes, I do get out of bed and I do get dressed, but I don't want there to be anything that I have to do immediately. Like, there's nothing on my schedule first thing in the morning or even within like an hour of getting up and getting out of bed. Basically, I have some time to myself to do whatever I want. And so some mornings, I may sip my coffee in silence, just letting my thoughts kind of trickle in. Or some mornings, I find that I want to read. And so I pick up a book and I sit down for, 30 minutes or so and just take in a chapter or two. Other mornings, I may journal or jot down some notes. And sometimes I do this actually by hand, right? Like writing things down. And other times I pull out my phone and I use the speech to text app because I don't feel like writing. But I still, get my thoughts out or may write about a specific topic. And then some mornings I may even do like a light yoga sequence to wake up in the morning. But my point is that I don't necessarily have a specific routine. I don't have clear timelines. I'm not timing myself or setting any alarms. But I have that time by myself, for myself. And I do whatever I feel like for that period of time. And then I go on about my day. And honestly, it's my goal to have that time every morning because I've noticed how much better I feel, how much more productive I am at work and even on days that I don't work, and how much less stressed or anxious I feel throughout the day. And it's all because I start the day more grounded. And I actually think that that fits really well in today's topic on spending time alone. Because that's how I spend time alone almost every day. Honestly, every day if I can. But some people are great at spending time alone. Some people already know they need it. Hello to my fellow introverts. And some people have no idea where to start or how to do it when it comes to spending time alone. Maybe you've even been avoiding spending time alone. But in my opinion, it's a really good practice to have. Being able to be alone with yourself, alone with your thoughts, it's necessary to check in with how you are really doing when there are no distractions and nothing to hide behind. It's also where you can sometimes find your best ideas, where you can get in touch with your creative self, where you can discover your hidden dreams, usually under a whole bunch of lies telling you that you're not those things, right? You're not creative, that you shouldn't be interested in pursuing that, that it'll never work out. But spending that time alone is where you can discover those things about yourself and about those lies, or maybe a more friendly way to say that, about those stories you've been telling yourself about yourself. But we're going to change that. So, if you've never been one to enjoy being alone, that's okay. Everybody starts somewhere. So, start slowly. Maybe just doing 5 to 10 minutes of intentional time alone. Or something that I actually really recommend doing if you've never spent time alone is to spend time alone doing something like a hobby or an activity. That way you get to spend the time alone. So you're doing this hobby or this activity by yourself. You're not doing it with another person. You're not talking to anyone while you're doing it. You're doing it alone. But because you're doing something for the duration that you are alone, it can, feel a little less awkward and help you ease into it because your body is active while your mind is free to wander. And that's where you get to start paying attention to what's going on the inside. You'll get your first glimpses of what you're thinking and feeling and while you're doing something else. So it's not the main focus and it doesn't put a lot of pressure on you, but it still gives you the opportunity to start to explore. And so if this is what you want to do to get started, you might try going for a walk. Or, maybe let your creative side out and you could paint or draw or do something else that you're good at or maybe enjoy but could do by yourself. Or maybe, like me, you want to give yoga or journaling a try. It doesn't really matter what you do as long as you enjoy it and are at least interested in giving it a try. And of course, it has to be something that you can do alone. But as you try more things and spend more time alone, you'll start to get more in tune with what you're thinking and feeling when no one else is around. It can be a complete game changer, getting in touch with your inner voice, and not just the critic, but the one that knows you the best, that knows what you really want under all the things that you say and do on the outside and in front of other people. And so, if you don't have a regular practice of intentionally spending time alone, it's time to get started. So, pick your first activity or hobby and schedule that time to do it and just go for it. See how it feels, see what comes up, see what you unlock within yourself. All right, that's all for today. Until next time, keep designing your happiness. Hey there, friend. I believe that in life and in business, your mindset is the most likely thing to hold you back. So, we're going to be here every week working it out so you can move closer to that life you've only been dreaming about until now. I'll see you back here for our next episode. And if you're loving what you're hearing, please take a minute to leave a review. All right, I'll see you next time.